What is a worse thing to come to life and try and romance you? Bearing in mind that the thing will retain some of the physical features of the thing they have come to life from, such as potentially melting if they get too hot.
I've got a great idea.
Okay.
One of those weird witch ornaments that go during Halloween. You know, those automated witch ornaments.
Yeah. The ones that sort of swing about a little bit.
Yeah, because if they move in the same way while they're alive, then it's just going to be, you know, an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
That is my type.
My pitch for something worse would be one of those creepy Anthony Gormley sculptures that just stands on the edge of a building, faceless, and stares.
Yeah, we have a lot of those on Crosby Beach, and they are gently terrifying. You always think there's someone in the distance. You're like, oh no, it's a statue. It's okay.
Yeah, and if they came to life, then they would just have no facial features or expression, and they just follow you around naked and smooth and dreadful.
Yeah, you do have to wonder. That one's not so smooth.
Oh yeah, some of them have dicks.
Some of them have dicks.
Some of them have dicks.
Which is
What
worse.
they have is a dick.
Which is worse.
Let's be clear on that. That is a terrifying thing to only
That is
have.
the worst thing ever. It is curious how much the magic fills in the gaps. Because, like, to some extent, he is very close to his sort of ice sculpture self. But there must have been some creative
Well, he didn't have. Yeah, I mean, he
by
didn't
the
have
scarf.
legs. Is a key
Quite.
point as a snowman, but he did have carefully and lovingly sculptured nipples. So
He
He did, and those were true to life. So
The statue also didn't have teeth, but he certainly fucking did. I'm just saying that.
I'm just saying, if she had put the Christmas scarf onto just a regular ass looking snowman, would that have become sentient in its horrible current form? Or
it would have been dad
like,
bod.
Would it have roughly approximated a Danny DeVito type?
yeah.
It would have been dad bod 100%. I think they still would have made it a little
Oh
bit
my
attractive.
God, give me this film with Danny DeVito and I would enjoy it so much more.
You put your magic scarf on me and it woke me up. Now we got a movie, Netflix.
Danny DeVito.
Hello and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that's made of not snow. I'm Deputy Sheriff Paul Schatz, and it's bloody Christmas probably by the time I manage to get this thing out.
Yay!
Yay, Merry Christmas!
Merry Crimbles!
I am joined by Roll Plus Half, the very best half
The best
of
half.
Yeah.
Roll Plus Half. I'm
Because
joined by
we're
Helen and
available,
Becs,
and everyone likes that.
Yeah.
the most
That's
available members.
Everybody's favourite virtue is available for this recording.
I love it. I love that about all of the people who show up in every movie I watch. Yeah, it's Helen and Becs. Hello.
Hi!
Hello!
Hello.
Hi
Hello there. They have decided... Oh, I didn't write this bit. Why? Why?
Because it's the morning and nothing can go right.
Nothing's going to go right today, and I hate it. They have decided to join me for the Netflix Family Christmas Special. I say family. It's Hot Frosty.
My life is a mess right now. Good things come to you when you're out in the cold, Kathy. Clearly, you've been doing your push-ups. You know what? You keep it.
You're stuck in there pretty bad. You want me to get behind you and push? Huh?
Maybe he's got something to hide.
We could just turn the temperature down. And in my house, we like it hot.
What are you doing?
You really gonna interrupt my finest interrogation work like that? I've never been on a date before. Please, I need your help with Kathy. It's been a minute for me, too.
What in the name of God?
Just gonna lean in a bit, okay? I want to make the most of the time that I have with you.
A man that sweet's just gotta be magic. For a snowman. You're one heck of a romantic.
I've got nothing. I've got nothing to say about it being a family film.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I guess, but also...
This was a movie for Prosecco mums, and we know it. Now,
Prosecco mums.
they need something at this time of year
Slice
besides
of
Prosecco.
humanity.
I recently rewatched our record of Navigating Christmas, the lighthouse-based Christmas thing, and you do describe the horrors of the Hallmark cruise as being wine-drunk mums.
Yeah, groping
harassing
actors.
bland-faced dilfs.
Yeah. I fully have to believe that that's how it goes every year. I don't know if they're still doing that cruise. Or if there were too many lawsuits the first time round.
Oh my god. That's rough, actually.
This movie feels like the Netflix equivalent of one of those cruises. Because yes, this is a Netflix Christmas special. Netflix has been honing in on the Hallmark-dominated Christmas movie game for nearly 10 years, off and on. I think they've made like 37 in the past 10 years, which is not a patch on what Hallmark is cranking out. Last time we spoke, it was 40 a year since 2019 that Hallmark were managed.
Yeah, they for sure have a team of people who are just year-round cranking out Christmas films.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much fake snow they are using? Like, that can't be good for the environment.
I assume they're single-handedly keeping the fake snow business in business.
Presumably, yeah.
Their passion for fake snow is the reason why one day it will never snow for real again. It seems to have started with A Very Merry Christmas in 2015, and then 2017's A Christmas Prince and 2018's The Christmas Chronicles put them on the map. But they've released a whole bunch of stuff. None of them have the immaculate vibes of, title-wise, of Never Been Christ, Battle of the Bulbs, or It's Christmas Carol. They need to up their game there if they want to try and keep up with Hallmark.
Yeah. More puns, Netflix.
I know.
Yeah.
Very similar concept-wise. In 2019, they made The Night Before Christmas, Night with a K.
Yeah, it was
the
bad.
premise is, oh, you watched it? Okay, well...
I've watched every Netflix Christmas movie that's ever been put out, and I'm not joking.
Premise seems to be a medieval English knight is magically transported to present-day America, where he falls for a school science teacher who is disillusioned by love. So it's Kate and Leopold, essentially.
Do Americans just think English people are Christmassy, do you think? Are we just inherently Christmassy to Americans?
I guess so, because we only do Christmas. There's none of this Thanksgiving nonsense.
Yeah, I guess so.
True, and also
there's the whole Dickens thing, right?
Yeah.
There is the Dickens thing, and I think Americans like to think of Christmas as being a time linked to sort of history in many ways, even though most of the stuff that they like, the baubles, tinsels and stuff, were invented in like the late 19th century at the latest.
Yeah.
Maybe even early 20th. Nevertheless, I think our connection, that they fetishize us because we have a history, is the thing. So, yeah, at this time of year, they often want to connect with that. The strategy does seem to be come up with a crazy premise with a ridiculous pun name so that people will dare watch it. And it's worked. Here we are.
Guess what, baby? We are not immune to advertising.
We got a hook, line, and sinker there.
Nope, Hot Frosty, everything that needed to work about that worked just fine because we watched it and now we've done an episode about it. And that's all they were trying to do, really. Hot Frosty is written by Russell Hainline, who is coming up. He wrote a non-Christmas film in his beginning career, but now is fully Christmas-pilled with credits for Merry Measure and The Santa Summit. But he's also a traitor, because he also wrote this year's Hallmark Christmas movies, Christmas Under the Lights and Three Wiser Men and a Boy.
Whoa, now, Pickle. I mean, I suppose there's only so many Christmas directors, I guess. I don't...
Also, I guess once you've specialised... Like,
there's always a job for you at Hallmark, you know.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's hard to make it in this business without working for Hallmark a little bit.
Yeah.
This Christmas film business.
Definitely.
Oh, God. Well, director is Jerry Siccariti. I'm going to say Siccariti. He got his start with low-budget horror movie Psycho Girls in 1985. He then made a bunch of cheap genre films, eventually making some not for Netflix Christmas movies, Holidays, Turkey Drop, and Angel Falls Christmas. And this worked because they gave him the hottest property they had this year. Oh, hang on a minute. They've made a new Richard Curtis Christmas film? And a second Lindsay Lohan? Why are we talking about this?
Yeah, dude, I just watched the Lindsay Lohan one yesterday. It was pretty good.
I'm planning to watch that.
I had a good time.
No. Damn it. Well, at least we get a bit of Lindsay in this.
It's true.
Not not very much info about the production of the film, but I did decide to go and watch a bunch of the interviews with the cast on YouTube. So we have a couple of highlights. Yes, it's really fun because there's quite obviously a thing where they've set up a Christmassy room with the cast, and then they just get different interviewers to run in and ask questions for 5 minutes and then get swapped out. Which I enjoy. I enjoy the energy of that, where they clearly like some more than the others.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating to compare the interview with Sheila Watko for her YouTube channel to Collider's Steve Weintraub. Like, they hate that. They hate that bitch, Steve Weintraub. They really like Sheila. Unfortunately, Sheila doesn't work for Collider yet.
One day.
We believe in you, Sheila.
You can do this.
You come on. Ditch Weintraub. Because Weintraub asked, is there anything about the making of the show, of the film, that might surprise fans? And Dustin Milligan exclusively revealed that they used a lot of fake snow in the movie.
So
They
surprising.
really
What?
They
Oh my
visibly...
God.
Well,
like,
now I
shut
don't
up.
like it anymore.
I assumed that they shipped out Lacey Chabert to Iceland like they did for apparently her previous Hallmark movie, which I appreciate.
I've got to be honest. One of the reasons I'm not surprised is that nobody in this film successfully looks like they're cold even
Yeah,
for a
right.
second.
Right.
One of them
It
has
is
to be
clearly
very
25
naked.
degrees out there.
One of them has to be quite naked for a lot of the film.
Yeah, and whilst I understand that, also they must have been unbearably hot for a good percentage of it, especially what's her face, main character lady. I forget
Yeah,
her name.
Gretchen Wieners, yeah.
Gretchen Wieners, yeah, because she was
God.
wearing that big fluffy ass hat for most of it, and I'm like, God, you must have been hot.
Yeah, oh Jesus. Well, look, Weintraub then fascinatingly chooses this time to observe that women have been objectified for a long time, so
My God,
how
no
was it for
way.
Milligan being subjected to the camera's objectifying gaze? You visibly see the cast decide to answer this question, and Milligan replies, it was incredibly uncomfortable, and then the rest of his answer is accompanied by shots of his crazy body from the film.
Oh my.
Oh, no.
Wow,
that.
well done, guys.
Well done, everyone.
We
involved in
did
that.
it. We solved fucking sexism.
We've solved sexism!
Right here in this Hot Frosty interview.
Shit, mate.
God, it is fascinating. Yeah, I've said that. Chabert appeared on The Tonight Show and was interviewed by Jimmy Fallon, where she reveals that before this she had made 41 Hallmark movies, and so is also a traitor.
Well,
But we love her, so...
We
Yeah.
love her. We love her.
I can't question her too hard, if I'm being honest.
Come on.
I simply can't.
Though I
however
did
you're
notice
getting-
in this film she has something of the Tom Holland problem of it looks a little bit like she's hiding a frog in her mouth the whole time.
Not a problem I've identified before in my
Now
Tom
that
Holland
I've
flicks.
said it, though, Paul, you'll never be able to look at her without thinking about it.
You can't think that there's a little frog in there.
Yeah, she's got something's going on with her mouth, and I can't quite figure out what it was.
There's a frog
yeah.
in there,
Did
Helen.
did she have tooth pain or something? Maybe it was giving me tooth pain face. You know?
Oh, God. She's got resting tooth pain.
Yeah, that's what it was giving me.
Oh, God. Russell, ugh. Yeah, I'm going to actually carry on with how I said that. Russell, writer Hainline, told The Hollywood Reporter, these movies lean into the sincerity in a way that maybe people might wave their hand and call corny, but irony is a safety net. These movies should exist without a safety net. Interesting. Interesting thing to say about this movie.
Yeah.
I like it as a concept, though. I'm like, yeah,
Sure.
sometimes you should just be genuine about shit.
Oh, God, I mean, nothing that I've seen of Deadpool and Wolverine has suggested to me that at this stage anyone should be trying to do irony anymore. It's like, okay, we're done. The jocks got the joke, everyone. We can't do it anymore. Critics were worried about the bacon and the heater. Odie Henderson at the Boston Globe said, this one plays like a porn film if all the sex were removed and the ridiculous threadbare
really
plot was
does.
fleshed out instead.
It really does. It really does. Because I was watching it with my brain sort of in the background going, and is there going to be something dirty happening at some point? And I was like, no, there isn't, Helen.
And
no,
then he's
going
to get his dick out, right?
Right. But
I
like,
did see. I saw one reviewer call it like the raunchy new Netflix comedy, and it's like
it's not raunchy. Raunchy
It's
is
not
not the
raunchy
word
at all.
I'd go for. They kiss at most.
He is shirtless sometimes.
Oh.
considering its
They
premise.
did stick a scarf to his penis, so that's quite raunchy.
Yeah, they really stuck it there.
Stuck
Yeah,
it on.
Oh my God. We've got to make sure this...
I don't know what clue they used, but it was strong.
Oh, yeah.
Don't they realise the Prosecco mums want to see it all?
Just a little flap.
What kind of Christmas is this? The public never takes a holiday when it comes to reviewing Netflix movies, because Gilberta McMuffian... Let's try that again. Jobertina McMuffin.
Okay,
Now you're
just making sounds.
I don't know
That's
what's happening.
not a name, is it?
I feel like I'm broken. Whatever they are, they said the movie was pretty basic. The fact that he was a snowman just made it freaky in a gross way. Also, hot take, the sheriff wasn't the bad guy. If someone is streaking, they should be arrested, even if it's Christmas. He obviously wouldn't have concluded that the streaker was actually a snowman come to life. Also, Hot Frosty was very horsish. My household agreed that he was not in fact hot. It felt like the writers were gaslighting us the entire time into thinking he was. The fake snow was also super bad. Oh shit, they're onto you. They're onto you, Milligan, run.
Yeah, I'll have something to say about what I think the protagonist looks like, but I'll wait till we get there, you know?
I like that. Mm-hmm. He did all of his interviews with a beard, and I think the beard is very
might
necessary.
help.
Completely
That might
changes who he is as a human, because we Googled him a lot in the office. Not saying that we didn't do much work in December, but we did spend a lot of time Googling this man in the office.
I wonder if they hired this man based on his bearded charisma.
Yeah, and then he turned up and
then
took
they
it off, and
shaved
they were
him.
like,
Well, they had to shave it because they couldn't justify the snowman having designer stubble. Yeah, and then we're just like, oh,
Whoops.
boy.
I mean, clean shaven only looks good on certain people, and I think he's certainly not one of those people.
yeah.
That's all
That's
I'm
a tough
saying.
look. It's a dramatic look. Now, Greg Robertson is a three-man after Doolittle, and an iconic turn in an evening with Beverly Loughlin. A movie so good we should probably take all of the people who were in it out of the three-man database. Nevertheless, you're a three-man, mate.
Oh, free to a man, free in the bush, free, yo. Film's a shit, mate.
Hot Frosty has 5.3 on IMDb, an inexplicable 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, 50% on Metacritic, still high, and presumably made Netflix some money.
Well, yeah, I remember sending you guys, or one of you guys sent me, I remember seeing the news article that, like, it debuted with a higher Rotten Tomatoes score than The Godfather.
Absolutely stunning. But, I mean, you have to bear in mind who those critics are and who Netflix invited to the press screening.
Not all
Yeah.
75% are equal, I think is what we're saying.
Wine drunk.
I think, honestly, maybe I should have gotten a little bit wine drunk to watch this
I
film.
think it
'cause
might
I
have
think it
improved
might have
it.
helped. It might have
Yeah.
helped. I was sober. I was stone cold sober. And I don't think that did it any
I mean,
favors.
obviously same.
Yeah. Well, yes, let's discuss our viewing situations a little bit before we get into it. Oh, hold on. So, Helen and Becs, you old Mortimer and Ethel Jennings.
Got a dog.
What's one thing about Hot Frosty that made you want to trade it in for a goldfish? So let's get back to it. How did you guys watch this film?
So I watched it and indeed intended to watch it before discussion of whether or not we should make it an episode became a thing. Because every year I watch the Netflix Christmas movies with a friend, and those shitty Christmas films are what get us set up for the Christmas mood. So it was supposed to be in person, but one of the very many storms that's been occurring lately cancelled all our travel plans.
Oh, no.
So we had to watch it over Discord. I had to stream it into Discord. Don't
It's
listen.
not the same.
Netflix. So we were together but apart, which is never the same as watching a film with someone. So
And-
that was a bit sad.
You know why all those storms happened? It's fucking fake snow. It's that fake snow
Yeah,
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's
Climate change.
literally destroying the world. There's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, I watched it with a friend of mine who is a mum and is just getting her kids to the point where she's starting to experience a little bit more freedom, I want to say, like in terms of having some time during the day when she can like do stuff.
That's nice.
And she dedicated some of that time to coming to my friend Katie's house and watching Hot Frosty with us.
What a choice.
My,
What?
oh my.
a celebration of newfound
Could have been out
freedom.
drinking wine.
Was she wine drunk while she watched it, though, is the real question.
They
we
were
need to ask.
both deep on the mulled wine.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay, good,
They
perfect.
did it correctly. That was perfect. Even better, it was a Christmas wine, you know?
The vibes were very good in the house, I have to say.
I don't think... I think I watched it in the worst possible scenario. I watched it
Oh, no.
alone.
Oh,
I watched it with no snacks. And I watched it whilst styling my hair, which I don't think is the way to be doing it.
either of those things.
Or any of that was incorrect.
Yeah.
It was just because that was the time I had spare in which to watch that film. So, you know, it
Yeah,
was
Helen's fresh off a viewing of Hot Frosty. For Paul
Yeah.
and I, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah, it has, unfortunately.
watched it
That's how the
yesterday.
scheduling worked. So I did have to message Katie a couple of times, just being like, Katie, I've written set of Gilmore Girls. What did I mean? And she explained that one of the early sets looks like the set of Gilmore Girls.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, thank you.
I was
It's very Gilmore
transcribing my
Girls-y.
notes last night because I hand wrote them, and I thought I better put them in a document so it's easier for me to do this recording. And I was so baffled by some of my notes that I had to open the film again
Yeah.
and just kind of skip through to see what the fuck I was talking about.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we'll never know at what point I wrote in all capitals, "I'm so uncomfortable I want to die," with 3 exclamation marks after it, but just know that it happened.
Mine was more sort of efforts in trying to capture the general vibe of the room, I think. So I also had to message her to say, Katie, what did I mean by Giselle from Selling Sunset is here?
No, that's
And
my fun fact! What a weird fucking cameo! Why is she there?
Look, there's nothing more Christmassy than Selling Sunset.
Well, now I
also
have
had
no
to-
fun fact
An
about this movie.
estate
Well, that's
agents?
devastating.
Question mark? Is that what Selling Sunset is?
Selling
Is it
Sunsets
estate
is a
agents?
reality TV show about, estate
Estate
agents.
agents.
I love
Yeah.
that.
It still surprises me how many celebrity estate agents there are, because they shouldn't be given that power, in my opinion.
No, and they also, like, I feel like there was a big push after that one estate agent got murdered by one of the clients to, like, safeguard estate agents.
Sorry?
This was in the 90s. This isn't in
okay.
Selling Sunset. This was, they didn't
my.
put this plot line.
I don't watch Selling Sunset, but I feel
Did I
like
miss
that's
this
crazy
episode?
that I would have heard about it.
No, this was a 90s thing, and afterwards it, like, massively changed the way in which estate agents, realtors, are the same thing?
Realtors,
Yeah, realtors do their business over there, but now it seems we need celebrity realtors.
Yeah, we're back on that
That's fun.
celebrity grind, unsurprisingly.
Well, speaking of which, I did also have to message Katie by saying, hi, what did I mean by Katie says that she should have made his dick bigger before putting the scarf on him? Again, mulled wine
I
was
think
being
it's
had by
clear
all.
what she meant,
Kendall?
Paul. She should have stuck on some extra snow and
She
then
should have
put
just-
the scarf on.
Just give him a couple extra inches before you...
Just, make it a little
Maybe
bit more
fill out
interesting
some of
for the
that
wine
weird
mums.
jawline, you know?
And then she went to refill her mulled wine. So,
I love you, Katie.
Katie is the best of us. Now, we start with a man with a Christmas accent I've written.
A Christmas accent.
Since the dawn of time, Christmas fairy tales have often included the wonder of a snowman coming to life, destined to bring its magic to the right person. But those fairy tales have never been told like this.
What
I'm pretty
I've
sure-
written is B-movie ass intro. So
Yeah, I think what I wrote was, hang on, oh my, since the dawn of time, eh? It's just like a weirdly grandiose way to start this particular
which is
film.
why it's like B-movie vibes. Like,
Too
it's
grandiose.
a movie about bees, and you're telling me you're getting this grandiose intro about, by all known laws of aviation, a bee shouldn't be allowed to fly, versus a movie about snowmen being like, from the dawn of time.
This is where I got confused, because I thought you meant B movie as in, a B movie, just the letter B.
I
And
meant
you meant B double E.
B-movie, yeah.
Right, okay, I got you. I'm now
Oh, okay, right.
following
I
the-
also thought you meant
Yeah.
letter B movie. I was
No.
like, yeah, I guess it is like a canon film.
I meant B-movie, the
Okay.
movie where a woman wants to have sex with a bee.
You
There's
need
a
to
lot of
clarify that,
similarities
because
when you
I
really
mean,
get down
no
to
that
one
it.
should-
will
that
ever
should be your-
refer to that.
That should be your one better thing? Question mark.
It's not my one better thing.
One
but
same thing?
if you want one samely weird thing, check out B-movie.
Yeah.
Love that. Look, let's go through the few notes we have that we understand. So, it's Lacey Chabert. She's living in a house. She's Yeah,
in
she's got this
hallmark poverty.
place. She's in
I.e.,
hallmark
there is
poverty.
a bucket catching some trips.
I also
catching
want
some
to mention
snowman blood.
that the first song that we meet her in is with Jingle Bell Rock, which is the song from Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's quite a nice reference.
Love
Just
that.
saying.
Love that for everyone involved.
Yep.
Yeah, so she's harvesting the snowman blood in these buckets. And yeah, she's basically she's recently divorced, and so her house is a bit shit because there's no man
She is
around.
not recently divorced.
She's recently widowed.
Widowed.
There we go. It was one of the two. It's
It
the
does-
whole-
Her
it's the
husband
whole
is
staple.
recently divorced from life.
Yeah, it does give divorced vibes though. Like at first, you're like, maybe she's been divorced. Like you do
Yeah.
get that feeling at the start.
Oh, you know, they might as well be dead at the point when.
Same thing, really.
We're solving sexism. We're killing off her husband rather than killing off a woman in a man's backstory. God, Paul.
Oh my god! Take
Or-
that, fucking Francis Ford Coppola.
Or killing off a princess's parents, I guess. I mean, you know, we've got to kill someone off for a
Yeah,
heartwarming
someone
movie.
has to die.
Look, we need to be able to say in interviews that this movie has a lot of heart, actually. So we've killed off the husband. She goes to now. Does she work in the bakery/diner?
Yeah,
She's
she like owns
owner.
it.
She's the owner.
She owns it. That's
she
of
used
course
to own
she
it
does.
with a dead husband.
Of course, she
Yeah.
owns a Christmas business. This
Yeah.
is, after all, a Christmas movie. She arrives at the kitchen and finds that in spite of the fact no customers have arrived, the chef has already made a lot of food and put it up
Too
on the
much
serving trays.
food.
Too
Yeah.
much food in
He's gone for it.
anticipation.
Like
He's
I
just
don't
too
want-
excited.
I don't want to turn up to a diner and for them to be like, "Here's one I made earlier."
Yeah, not ideal. Although it is a diner, and their menus are notoriously huge, so like you kind of have to get started on some of the fucking meatloaf. Let's be
no,
real.
there's a difference between like having done prep and having just cooked everything.
Just having like an egg there going cold for 2 hours. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Thank God you're here. I'm out of ingredients. You've got to stop doing this. It's 9 a.m. What's wrong
He's
with you?
also, I just want to say, he's also suspiciously cheerful for a chef. Never met a cheerful chef. They don't exist.
Especially first thing in the morning.
They are a bitter and sour lot.
They hate life. They
My
hate life.
experience would also agree with this.
Yeah, I
Turning
married.
up for 8 a.m. prep on a Saturday, I was never greeted by anyone being like, "Morning." They were like, "Get the fuck in here."
But this is Christmas Town.
Like, obviously, I love chefs. I married a chef. That's why I love them, though, because they hate life.
Look, the mum from Elf is here.
Yes.
She's here to explain that she needs to move on. She goes and visits her, and she's like, you know, and that's when I met the love of my life. And the husband in the background sort of perks up, and I just loved it if it hadn't been him. And then later, we split up, and I married Boris.
And now
here.
married this fucker. You know,
Yeah.
well, it is what it is. Yeah. I mean,
He'd
that
been
would have
around
been
long enough.
that would have been a more relevant story if we're true as well, because
Yeah.
she's already met the love of her life. She married him
And then he
died.
died. Yeah.
He
So this is
did,
kind of a
bitch.
harsh story to tell her. 'Cause she's like, yeah, I already did all of this stuff. I don't know what you're trying to point out. Like, I shouldn't be single anymore or something, I guess. Weird.
Anyway, take
Small
this magic
town,
stuff,
man.
put it on something that looks like it's going to have a big dick.
All right.
Will do.
All right. Wait a minute, how do you have this magic scarf? And is it implied that some item of clothing of the husband's is keeping him alive?
Well, so she just said this came in and it reminded her of the scarf that she
Yeah.
put on to go out when she didn't want to.
Yeah.
oh my
and
god,
as
is
a
she
result-
a snowman?
Met the husband.
Perhaps.
So either she didn't know that it was a magic scarf or she's some kind of trickster spirit.
Yes. I think the second one.
I think the second one too. She's
She
too
just gives
knowing.
off trickster spirit vibes, you know? She's there. She's like, my glass will be replaced sooner or later. I don't know what you're talking about.
This just came in yesterday, and it reminds me of the night that I met Theo. The second I saw it, I knew it had come to me for a reason. And then you walked in.
It's very sweet, but I really don't need it.
She's not gonna let you leave without it. Believe me.
Good things come to you when you're out in the cold, Kathy.
My first note that I have no idea what the fuck it means is he's talking to him, old friends.
What?
Nope, that's a riddle. Solve that riddle, OG team, and you'll find the treasure hidden
Is it
at the
he's-
heart of Old Frosty.
Is it
Old
he's or
Frosty?
she's? He's or she's?
He's talking to him.
Him.
Helen is writing this down.
Helen's rearranging this as an anagram right now.
Helen is well on to where
No,
the
I just-
actual real Constitution of the United States has been hidden.
I'm just looking to see where in my notes it could be, and there's nothing. So
No, well, look, the next thing that's going to happen is that the snowman's going to come to life.
What?
Yep.
Wait, what was the what? He's talking
Oh no.
to him old friends.
Yeah.
Is there any punctuation in there, like a dash? Just
No,
old friends.
not at all.
She's talking to him, old friends.
Look, I will add a note once I've sampled this movie, if I can be bothered, because it'll probably be
He's
Christmas
talking
Eve. Oh no,
to
we have to
him.
move on. We can't allow this to become the podcast. This one bad note I made whilst my friends were getting mulled wine drunk.
Look,
All right, well, just know that I haven't fully solved the anagram, but you can get the word nightliest out of it.
Okay, well,
you
the
go.
nightliest snowman in this entire lot, this handsome, chiseled, when all the other snowmen look like derpy snowmen, this one is the one she's going to put the scarf on. And sure enough, it horrifically and slowly makes him real in a sequence similar to that of Hellraiser.
it's actually not too bad because, like, I thought it was going to be really like, oh, we cut away and then cut back and it's hit. But like the transition was quite good. Weirdly,
I thought it was
Is
a
it
little
me?
bit horrifying because it
Am
did
I
look
the
like he
problem?
had pain in his eyes as a snowman.
I love that.
And also, at this point, I will say, as he came to life, what I've written down about what this man looks like is that he looks like... So, you know, in, like, the 2010s, late noughties, early 10s, there was this run of, like, spoof movies.
Yeah.
Epic movie and
Yeah.
such.
yeah.
He looks like he's playing Jasper from Twilight in one of those movies, but crossed with a war boy from Mad Max.
Yeah,
Love that.
I see that.
Love
I see
that
that. That's a
energy.
very good description. I just wrote
Yeah.
he's got an uncanny face.
It's pretty
It's
uncanny.
uncannily similar to an actual face.
Yeah, it could be a face in certain lights, but in these lights, not so much. No.
Well, he comes to life and he immediately starts by streaking and then stalking her because he remembers her from being a snowman, in which even
Horrifying
before the scarf,
implication.
yes, even before the scarf, he apparently retains some level of sentience.
So I have a lot of my notes start with the word horrifying, and then list something. So horrifying, local sentient snowman implies all snowman, in fact, sentient, even
Yeah.
when made of snow.
Yeah,
And
that is
self-aware
so
of the
they
melting
can
process.
feel the melting from their head. Does their head contain the brain, or is it all of the snow? Is it like every piece of snow
Is it a
all-
crystal lattice structure throughout their whole body?
Are they hive? Is it hive? Is it a hive?
Are
mind?
they essentially John Carpenter's The Thing?
Yes.
If you take a bit of the snowman and subject it to fire, will it try and get away from the hot needle?
I've recently been reading Tomie by Junji Ito, and it's giving me Tomie vibes.
You love for your Christmas film to be like, it reminds me of Junji Ito.
It's a very Junji Ito feeling about this. I don't.
Love that.
It may be a reference not everyone gets, but it's true. So there you
I
are.
like it. Anyway, our police it's time to call on the police. Fortunately, it is Doug Judy and Boyle. who
I
show
know.
up.
I got so happy. I was
Yes.
like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine reunion.
Crime doesn't pay. Oh, not here, not today. Here in Hope Springs.
I'm sorry, can you speak up, please?
You better have
Just
your
a
bail.
little bit louder.
Cause we're taking you to jail here in Hope Springs.
No, Oh. Boss! Boss!
You like it?
I love it. Another crime last night.
Another?
Streaking. Man running naked in the plaza around 1. Old Mortimer and Ethel Jennings saw him while walking their dog.
Description.
Small, fluffy, funny little nose.
The streaker, Ed.
Oh. Morty went out without his glasses, couldn't get a clear view.
And Ethel?
Thought you wouldn't say. Just kept insisting that he was doing a public service.
These are my favourite characters in this film because there is something
course.
there.
They're
isn't
my
there?
favorite
Those are my-
characters, and I'm gonna say it now. Doug Judy is simply playing Javert in a Christmas film.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, he is. He's
He
very
truly
Javert-coded.
is. Everything's going on, and he's stalking the streets, going after his guy who stole a loaf of bread / streaked. And that's all that concerns him. Justice. There's no grey area here. It's only black and white law.
But I'm just a snowman, and I'm Javert. Do not forget
Snowman,
me.
at last we see each other clear.
Meanwhile, Lacey Chabert meets with the snowman and puts the two pieces together and figures out what's going on.
Look what happened. Look what happened to me.
Sorry, what happened?
Well, I was made of snow, and now I'm made of not snow. Can you believe it?
No, I really can't believe that. Aren't you cold? You look very cold.
No, I'm not cold. I feel good.
Horrifying, colon. The implication is that this man's flesh may very well melt from his bones if he spends too long in a lukewarm room.
Yep.
Yeah, this is what troubles me, is what will that look like, right?
What will this melted man look like?
What is his skin? Is it gonna? I just need to know. I need to know as a human how that will look.
They had Tom Savini on standby just in case it came to it, but unfortunately it didn't. So, yeah, that's not a note. Sorry, I've made the note that Doug Duty has his Laughlin organ with him, which he plays, and I make the note, is he no-nonsense, or is he pro-nonsense with his little organ playing?
No, I think that he believes that the organ is no nonsense.
Yeah, he believes that the organ is very serious.
Yeah,
and
the
he's
organ
doing
is an
serious
essential
things.
part of his police work.
Well, he has to go into schools,
this
probably,
is how he broods.
Right? Yes, he has to go into schools and play crime songs, probably. So
Anti-crime
that's an important part of his job, his role as sheriff. Like, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Love it. Anyway, hold on. I'm eating a Christmas cookie whilst we do this, and it
Of
is...
course, as you should be.
Christmassy.
It's okay, it's a
It's very
co-op
early in the
elf.
morning for a Christmas cookie.
I had
know.
cookies for breakfast, so I'm right there with you.
Fair.
Love this energy. It is a co-op Elf's Candy Crunch cookie to get the full placement. And it
I
does
will
not
marry
have the firmness that I hoped for.
That's a shame.
It's a bit soft. But, speaking of being a bit soft, Chabert takes him to a crazy woman wearing a doctor's outfit.
Yeah.
Who gives us some of the
I
wildest
thought you
fucking
said
advice.
Javert, and I got confused.
Look, there's a lot of Chabert getting thrown around. And we need to get over it. Because, yes, he takes...
Gretchen
she takes,
Wieners takes...
Yes, takes the Hot Frosty to a crazy woman in a doctor's outfit who gives her some of the wildest advice you'll receive outside of Elf.
I actually found him talking to the snow sculptures. Yeah, I don't know how long he's been out there.
Hi, Jack.
Hi.
How you feeling?
Fine.
Wow, you're cold.
So he says he doesn't remember anything before last night.
That's not good.
I was a snowman.
That's definitely not good. Just hold this for a moment.
Oh, this tastes funny.
Don't eat it, just hold still. Weird.
What is it?
Just a malfunction. Maybe needs new batteries. I don't know. It's okay. Both thermometers say that he's below 30 degrees. He's ice cold, but appears to be sweating.
Oh, maybe he's melting. I was kidding. You cannot be serious.
Excuse us a sec. So he's saying this is him? And he came to life? Yes, and that snowman is gone now. Maybe he's telling the truth.
Oh, sure, right. And I'm the queen of Aldovia. Come on, Dottie. You're a doctor. What do you actually think?
Look, everything about Christmas. Santa, elves, flying reindeer. The scientist in me knows they shouldn't exist. But wouldn't the world be a little bit better if they did?
Yes.
The scientist in me knows these things don't exist, but wouldn't it be better if they did?
It's like, yeah,
No,
but that's...
someone take your medical license away. What the fuck?
And that's also not a reason to take him home, you know? I just
Yeah.
feel like that's not a good enough reason to take him home, friend, because you
Yeah.
believe in Christmas magic.
I make the note, how are you not sectioning this man?
Yeah.
A great question. She acts like there's nothing she can do. She's like, well, you know, this is just going to happen. I mean, I suppose they did close all of the mental hospitals in America at a certain point in like the 60s.
I think
so,
this
like,
is
you know, maybe there's no
also
room.
this is also where I start making notes about how uncomfortable I am every time he says something like, "I've known you my whole life. I love you."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, real gross. Some real, like, again, this is just the same trope as it normally is, only it's with a dude.
Yeah, it's Born Sexy Yesterday.
Turns out Born Sexy Yesterday, still gross in reverse.
Yeah, gross whatever you do with it. It's just gross, generally.
Take that, Western media.
Again, we've solved sexism.
I made the note here, Katie anticipates a joke and then is annoyed when it happens.
Is it the, Oh, no, this is a bit later, I think. I was about... no, that's not it.
Well, the next thing that happens for me is that he's going to learn from TV, because Lacey Chabert leaves him at home and it's like, hey, just watch TV, so he's learning from it. And I'm like,
Same way
oh
as
god,
Splash.
no, he's going to become a hot incel.
No, he's not learning from the internet, it's from TV.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and it's mainly the Hallmark Channel that's on, so he's mostly going to learn about Christmas crafts.
And cookies. Yeah, it's
And cookies,
fine.
yeah.
Don't worry about it. TV's not quite reached incel levels yet. If he was on YouTube, maybe.
Well.
Depends what channel you're on.
Yeah.
But he decides to go into the basement to start looking for things and finds the husband's Comic Sans medical records.
They were literally in Comic Sans. I screamed.
Yeah.
And also the picture that is down there, that is their wedding picture.
Oh
I'm fairly
my God.
certain
Weirdly
was the picture of them
photoshopped.
that was upstairs, but with wedding clothes photoshopped on. Like, it was the same picture.
But her face is so badly photoshopped. Why didn't they just take a picture with a man? How is this a problem?
Man,
Look.
right?
Any man, any
They've got-
vaguely attractive man, take a picture and then you're done. It's really not that hard.
Netflix are trying to prepare for the point where they're going to be able to make 40 of these a year.
I mean, I guess so. I guess
they're
so.
already practicing the corner cutting. That picture's going to show up in 3 more movies next year.
Just a
Just
different
different
face
heads.
slapped on. What they're preparing for is the world where you can tell the AI, I want to see this film, but with this person as the protagonist, and then it will automatically just slap a different face on them.
What a time we're in for. But
I'm swapping Hot Frosty for Henry Cavill. That's all I'm going to do.
Okay. That does make sense. He understands the word chemotherapy, and so goes to have a conversation with her about that.
Magic.
My next
It's the
two
magic
notes
of
are...
Christmas.
She explains that she's... Didn't finish that sentence, and the next sentence literally want to vomit.
Yeah, that's about where my notes are at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I write a Tim Burton character arrives. I don't know what that means. I don't know who I'm referring to.
Tim Burton.
Oh, it's the woman in the car. Is it the woman in the
Yeah.
car? It's a lot of horny
yes,
women.
you're right.
Horny women.
It is the horny women show up.
Okay, so anything else I can do for you ladies?
Actually, my son Brandon is principal at the middle school. They just lost their maintenance staff, and they could really use help with the Christmas dance.
That'd be great. But it would have to be tomorrow, just because I have to get back to Kathy's and finish up there.
She is lucky to have you.
Thanks. Actually, I feel like I'm the lucky one. Oh, speaking of Kathy, would any of you be able to give me a ride to the diner?
Yeah.
They do have a conversation about how the husband died and how she's sad about it, which is
Yeah.
revelatory.
And he makes a
Yeah,
pizza.
but it's a very bad conversation because he says, "What's cancer?" and she says, "It's a bad thing that happens to people," implying that everybody has to go through this at some point.
You're just gonna
This
get cancer at some
unspecified bad thing.
Yeah.
I know, but
not
look,
a very
1
good
in 3
explanation.
people. I'm turning this into a promo. 1 in 3 people. This is now the celebrity bake-off wounded
my.
thing.
Jesus.
That really kills the vibes when they cut from James Acaster ruining a pudding to 1 in 3 people are going to get cancer. It'll happen to you. Give us money.
That's why I can't watch comic relief, because it's like I can't. None of this is funny because
Yeah,
it's
well, they'll be doing
intercut with
comedy,
fucking
and then they'll
misery.
cut straight to starving children, and you're
Yeah, it's
like,
like I can't watch this. I don't know how anyone does watch this who has a
It's
soul.
part of the punishment. It's just, oh, you like that, do you? Laughing
you.
away. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at it.
It's quite a James Acaster move, to be fair, isn't it?
Do you guys consider that maybe the image you're presenting of these marginalized groups does more harm than good? No, shut up, give us money. Anyway. Oh, I think, is it Katie who says this is me as a grandma in relation to the
Horny
again,
women.
wine-drunk women who show up
Yeah.
in order to
these
ogle.
are basically put in as the audience stand-in. These ladies,
yes,
definitely,
Yes.
because they're
You
sat
guys-
drinking wine whilst he's putting a light up. You know, it's very audience coded,
and
you
it's
know?
like telling telling on the audience, because my only note is not the sexual harassment being played for laughs. Sad face.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, very, very concerning. I mean, look, I am I think the only one on this call who has any attraction to men. I think. But like,
except for Jason Statham. Continue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's an exception, but like, I still think this is rough. Like, because I am attracted to men, but I'm also like, I don't know whether this is how we want to be finding our attraction. You know, like, should we not be? I don't know. I'm more attracted to personalities though, so I guess I can't count in this sort of scenario.
Would you come over with some of your other friends to ogle someone's personality? I feel
mean,
like I have literally
sometimes.
done that with people. It's like, hey, tell them about your really cool hobby.
Yeah.
Everyone look at this. What do you,
guys,
what do you do?
Check this out.
I'm going to objectify you based upon your personality and things you like. So, I mean, I guess that's fine, I suppose.
That's just human relationships,
That's just
isn't it?
friendships? Question mark?
I think so.
I will say, though, that the wall art in this woman's house, incredible, and me and my friend skip back and spend nearly, I would say, 2 minutes with it paused whilst we try and work out what's going on with one of them on the wall before we eventually realise that massive fleshy coloured thing is not that man's penis, it's his hand. He's holding an artist's palette, and the thumb really looked
like a penis.
Johnson.
Because he's standing behind another man also, so...
It is quite... Is it the one next to the doorway? It's quite homoerotic, no?
No, it was like inside the apartment on the back wall, so it's behind him every time he's doing his DIY. And you know what? I'll send you a screenshot later.
Yeah,
I can't believe that you
can
guys
be
are able to
baffled at
see this when there's a Hot Frosty on screen.
I don't know. If something's homoerotic on screen, though, I'm immediately looking at that. That's my problem.
I'm really into men.
He was such a Hot Frosty. What if Jason Statham had played the Hot Frosty?
Well, that would have been an entirely different experience.
That would have been a different film, if anything, wouldn't it?
It would have been,
Surely.
and yet I can't help but feel that Statham would have been up to it.
Yeah, I think he could have done it. I just think it would have been.
We all know that man secretly has comedy chops.
There would have also been gentle menace to it, though, as we all know.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jason Statham, the only thing about him is his gentle menace.
Yeah, but play for laughs. Like, imagine the scene of him approaching the couple naked as a newly generated. Like,
significantly more threatening.
I'm going to need some of your clothes.
I mean, it would make
the
Doug
sheriff
Judy's,
make more sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
It would make him make a lot more sense.
It's like this clearly hitman has turned up naked in our town.
He's a really bad hitman. He's really fucked this up.
He lost his bug out bag. You know, he's just like.
Suddenly, a Jason Statham, Greg Robinson duo movie is the only thing I want. And whilst I briefly agree with that, it's time to move on. He gets a job at the school, I think, is one of the next things that happens, as a handyman, and he starts bonding with some of the kids and helping them to prepare for their upcoming snowball. Snowball.
But this is the point where, for some reason, I just figured out the premise of the film in my notes. It's literally the snowman, but with abs. And that's just the time that I came up with it, apparently, so there you are. Helen was clearly having good brain yesterday.
My note at this point is so much of this film takes place in a car.
Yeah. That's America.
Well, at this stage, my next 3 notes are, they have a heart to snowball chat in the car, getting grief counselling from a snowman.
Yep.
How loaded is she from this bakery? I don't know what prompted that.
But she can't
this is the whole
afford to
film.
fix up her house. I'm so confused.
No, she can afford to fix up her house. She just can't be asked to call the repairman. I think this is where we're getting confused. She's got plenty of money. She just doesn't have the pure mental energy to figure it out.
Yeah, but she can't stand
to get
to have
heating in the middle of the winter.
I know. I mean, I guess at a certain point that starts to become the problem with the mental energy, right?
I think that the "how loaded is she" comment came from when he makes off with her credit card, I think, or
she's like,
reveals
it's fine.
Yeah,
yeah, and
it.
he buys like plate glass from Belgium, like he's on a fucking what's the property show where they always buy fancy glass?
HGTV?
No, the specific one where they build a home and they always go over budget.
Oh, I know the one you mean.
I do too. I saw someone talking about it recently.
Something designs.
We all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where the woman will
Grand
be like...
Grand Designs? Is that
where
it?
the woman will be like, hi, I make worms on a string. And the man will be like, I custom create pepperonis for pizza. Our budget is $8 million.
You're like, why is life like this, though? Why are we
God
here?
damn me for trying to have an actual job. But look, I also made the note, did this town only have one handyman? Because it does seem that the husband's death has meant the whole town has slowly slid into disrepair.
Yeah, and I think that's standard, isn't it? One person dies, the infrastructure is fucked. You know?
Yeah, that's the problem with small town living.
Yeah.
But then again, in London, you could just die and nobody will actually notice or give a shit or feel bad about it. So it swings and roundabouts.
There's something vaguely comforting about that, though.
Right?
Gives you a sense of perspective.
The crazy doctor's died. I guess we're packing up. Everybody out. We're going to Minneapolis. Starting again.
Oh, dear.
Oh, at this stage, I do have to figure, is somebody just out there being like, where the fuck is my snow sculpture?
Yeah, right.
Did
Because
somebody
that
steal
looked
this?
like it took a lot of effort, right?
Yeah, I was hoping to win this contest.
And it was for a competition, yeah.
And they clearly gave a shit about, like, because everyone else was just like, okay, standard snowman. And they were like, I'm going to do the most gorgeous snowman I can do. Because as a snowman, he was actually quite good looking, and then he became a man, it was gross. Anyway, but yeah, so they put a lot of work into that, and they clearly, like, maybe that's their husband or something. I don't know. That's what my headcanon says. And then she's
God,
just...
if they sculpted the snowman as a likeness of someone, that's a
Well,
really
this is what I was
horrifying
thinking.
idea.
This is what I was thinking. How could they not have done that?
If the actual model for the snowman had shown up and they had a sort of handsome off, that would have been...
Because how can you physically... I feel like you can't sculpt without some kind of reference. I mean, maybe it's pictures from the internet, but even so, that's still weird.
What if it was Boyle who is the model and he removes his shirt and he's just like super ripped?
By the way, incidentally, I spent quite a lot of this film confused about when it was set because everyone had like flip phones and like really old alarm clocks to the point where I was like, have they set this in the past? And if so, why?
Yeah.
That is
but then,
just...
at the end, Gretchen Wieners pulls out like an iPhone, so it's not.
Are flip phones just fashionable now or something? Is that...
No, they're like old flip phones. They're like...
I mean, I guess maybe it's because it's an old town and there's a lot of older people. They're just like, this is the phone I have.
It just confused me real hard. Anyway, sorry, continue.
M.R. James had this idea that you needed to set things at a sort of uncanny distance, that there was a period about 30 years in the past that you needed to set things in order to get people to suspend disbelief about things like ghosts.
Also give a sense of
things
nostalgia.
Like that. Yeah, and I love the idea that that is now happening now, and that flip phones represent the call to the uncanny that we
the vague past.
Yeah, the vague past that we need to accept that, yeah, maybe snowmen came to life back then. Wouldn't have now, obviously.
It's not within living memory or anything.
Well, exactly. Oh, God. So, yeah, Boyle teaches the snowman how to dance a shebare. I make the note they do Pretty Woman.
Yeah, they do a Pretty Woman. Like
she's like, we've got to go shopping, and they do a shopping montage to Pretty Woman, and she does the snappy thing,
box thing.
Which bold fucking move to compare yourself to a better film about troubling power dynamics in a relationship. You know,
although he does have the teeth.
He does have the teeth, you're right.
And they have been referencing Mean Girls throughout this whole thing, so they've not been too afraid about reminding the audience of what they could be watching.
Yeah, there was a temptation at some point to just go, I think I might watch Mean Girls again.
Might watch Mean Girls.
Yeah. Why have I got the note? Did you bring a date? Yeah, she's there, staring full at us. This is the dance, I think.
They are both just standing there.
That's right. Hot
They're
Frosty.
embasying. They're basically T-posing in the distance. You know?
They go to the dance. There's a whole subplot involving two of the kids that we're not going to get into. It's fine.
My next note is simply, your dead husband would want you to fuck me.
my next note is, you are being selfish, honestly. Because, like... Really, this woman is going through some shit, and you need to stop now. Perhaps.
It's very romantic, gang, as you can tell from our notes.
Yeah, again, my notes are just incomprehensible, because after best night of my life, I've got, the pain of being left behind. That's why I'm taking you with me.
He makes a big speech about, like, I can't, like, the more I fall in love with you, the crueler I know it is, because you know what it's like to be left behind. And at this point, I'm like, is this whole film a cancer metaphor? Because it doesn't deserve it. I mean, you haven't earned this shit.
I guess all of his cells are turning against him because they're snowflakes. I guess.
He talks about the pain of, like, the inevitability of losing someone slowly, and I'm like,
oh my,
you haven't earned this emotional depth.
No, not at all. I one of the things I wrote around here is I wanted to be happy, but her ending up with a snowman would be a bad ending, right?
Yeah, let's hope that that's not the ending. It's just there's a Lacey Chabert snowman.
It is at this point that me and my friend again paused the film to spend, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes discussing like how you would live permanently with a snowman.
Yeah. You've just got to be heading towards the Arctic, right?
Freezes? I mean, you've got to, but also, how are you going to survive on the way there? He's not going to make it there.
Freezes. The answer is freezes.
The answer
put him in a
big old
chest freezer. Stick him in the cargo hold of a plane.
Yeah. Cargo holds are quite cold anyway in certain parts. You could have them in the cold bit of the cargo hold.
That is true.
You just got to head out there and just hope that eventually people will stop voting for Donald Trump.
Oh my.
Ouch.
Oh my. So, yes, he gets arrested and then outed as a snowman, which the town takes really well. I've got the note that Greg Robertson says, you all buy this? And they're like, yes, we're idiots.
Yeah, that's
we're
pretty
small
much
town
it.
America. I'm very stupid, apparently.
It is.
We believe anything anyone tells us ever.
Where are my notes? Because there's a conversation that's so funny to me that was just like, he's different from us, and in my mind I'm like, yes, he has the mind of a child.
Yeah.
And then the crazy doctor stand up goes, he's a snowman, and everyone's like, yeah.
Okay.
And Gretchen Wieners is like, you just buy this, and someone just goes, it's Christmas.
It's like, fuck off, immediately fuck off.
My final three notes are, they all come together, Christ-like, and he is an undocumented man.
Okay, well, my final notes are, so Hot Frosty is just Jean Valjean as the mayor, doing good to the community, but being pursued relentlessly by Javert anyway.
Yeah.
And then they slam him up, and Doug Judy slams him up in prison, implies he's going to leave him there for 2 days without food or drink.
Yeah.
Gretchen Wieners is like, he's going to melt. The whole town comes together to bail him out, but they're too late. And then they're just going to leave his corpse there in the snow.
Yeah.
They all just walk away from
Yeah,
it.
they're all just, let's turn around. This seems unseemly.
What do you want them to do, Bex? All get together and lift him up and
Pick
take
him
him
up,
straight to
I
the
guess.
cemetery.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know,
It's
just
so
put him in a morgue.
fucking weird.
I think.
Anyway, then he wakes up and he's a real boy.
So my
real boy now.
last note was, well, second to last, but anyway, the last note is not important. We did a Pretty Woman reference, but we're not doing It's a Wonderful Life ? And then a pause. Oh wait, yes we are.
Yeah, we are. There we are.
Yeah, we're doing It's a Wonderful
Yeah, we
Life.
are.
Obviously.
I saved all of my pocket money. I wonder if we could use it to bail out the snowman before he dies. I'm sorry, Timmy, you didn't save enough.
And then also, the other note I have about this is, it's just like DashCon for real. When they're passing around the hat, just asking people to put random money in it. And then when they're giving the money back, everyone's like, I put in $100 actually. So I'll just take that back.
Yeah, I wrote, it's going to be a nightmare to re-divvy up that money.
Just like DashCon for real.
This has got to be the most easily conned town ever. Dave, I had a mark. I swear to God I convinced a village that a snowman had come to life and we had to bail him out. I swear to God I did. Barry, every
That's
time
not
you get drunk
possible.
you tell this story.
Yeah,
And the
I feel
movie-
like they're lucky they haven't been fucked. I mean, maybe they have been fucked over before, and that's why
Maybe.
the town's all
Maybe that's the
in
sequel,
shambles.
is that they come in and then suddenly, yeah, Hot Frosty has to go after the money in the way only he knows how.
Yeah.
And that's when he's played by Jason Statham.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Oh, God. I think that's just about gonna do it for the hottest of Frosties.
It wasn't a very complex film, let's be real.
No, not
Warm
really.
Frosty at best.
The plot points were not not difficult to follow.
No, there wasn't a point where I reached something and I was like, oh, shit, we haven't set this up.
Because they didn't set it up. They didn't set up anything.
No,
They just kind of
nothing
went,
was set up in this
here's
movie."
a thing.
What did we think of Hot Frosty?
It was a wild fucking ride, is the thing. And it made me so deeply uncomfortable in so many ways.
Yes, that's correct.
I is it bad that whilst uncomfortable... See, here's my problem, is that I will read Junji Ito as a comfort thing. You know, like, I like horror. I enjoy horror. So this kind of felt comforting to me, and to me then I was like, oh, that is why it felt comforting, you know? Because it had the comforting Christmas vibe, but it also had the horror, so I was like...
Yeah, I
actually,
mean,
it's kind
if
of
I'd
like...
sat down and watched it through the lens of it being a horror, I might have felt differently. But I was watching it through the lens of being a cozy Christmas rom-com, and it was, in that respect...
You see, I
found the mix quite comforting. I found it quite comforting, weirdly. The mix of it
on
was
the other
comforting.
hand, I can thread the needle here, I think, a little bit, or offer a third way, because I hoped it would be more disturbing. Because I was watching this through the lens of, this is a fucked up Christmas film. It's going to be hilarious that they try to play this for heartwarming when it's this creepy and weird. And I just wanted it to be weirder, I think.
Yeah.
The one thing that worked immaculately in its favour is that, what's his name? Milligan was his name?
Something Mulligan?
Where are you? Dustin Milligan. He is fabulously creepy as
Yeah.
the snowman. He does have a really immaculate sort of creepy
face.
vibe.
Yeah.
His face, his constant grinning, they've really cast that well in terms of someone who's quite unsettling.
Like,
But-
if you wanted a horror, he would have been the perfect one to cast. Yeah.
And I will repeat again, before I watched it, the review that I got of this movie, which I have already told you guys, which was my friend's manager started watching
Yeah.
it and had to turn it off halfway through.
That's the
And
vibe I
said-
wanted.
And said, I think very aptly, I think that what is supposed to be childlike naivete reads as a man who got kicked in the head by a horse.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty accurate.
It is, and that stuff was good, and it was good fun. I think the thing is...
Does that say something troubling about us as humanity, though? And this is something that I thought about during the film, is that if a man is cast as the Born Sexy Yesterday, we think... there's something wrong with him, this is troubling. Or if a woman is cast as Born Sexy Yesterday, it's sexy, question mark. This is more uncanny than it would be with a woman,
about
which is troubling to me.
Yeah, infantilization of women as a whole
is more normalised than men.
And the sexualisation of innocence in women.
It's weird that it becomes more creepy with a man because we don't think of men that way. And I think that does say something troubling about humanity, right?
Yeah. And I think that's all true. It just doesn't play very well when you're in the room with the mulled wine drinkers. It's not the sort of uproarious kind of, what's happening, that Babe 2 Pig in the City is.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
We can't all be Babe 2 Pig in the City, Paul.
Very
I
true.
think you're putting a high bar for something that shouldn't have had that high bar.
That is very fair. I think... Yeah, the problem with it is it has been designed very much to go viral, kind of. It has that, you know, that food that gets made that is entirely made so that people Instagram themselves eating it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, blue steaks, kind of crazy, gold dust ice cream, like weird performative stuff.
Shiny gravy.
Exactly. This is like that. This is like, you know, we want people to get together, take pictures of themselves watching it, and sort of, you know, do Instagram posts of how confused they are watching Hot Frosty, but then also concede that actually it was but also they want to play to their Prosecco mum sort of audience who are here to have a bland Christmas time.
Yeah. So it kind of doesn't fill any of the briefs that it should do.
No, it doesn't.
Ends up being a horror, frankly.
Well, it reminds me of the Hallmark movie we did last year, Navigating Christmas, in as much as kind of fun premise, but just really bland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of all movies that get made, I think Christmas ones are often the blandest.
Yeah.
And I think it's because, Paul, as I believe that you observed last time when we were doing Navigating Christmas, is it designed to be sat down and watched, or is this to be on the TV whilst you're making Christmas dinner, popping in and out, and you're still going to know what's going on?
Or like when you're making Christmas cookies, you know, it's something to put on in the background and the
exactly.
kids can vaguely watch it because it doesn't really mean anything. You know, it's a
Yeah.
background movie, isn't it?
And I think it's basically that. It's that combined with a clever marketing ploy, which I experienced recently. I had reason recently to describe the premise to Surviving Christmas, the not Netflix, all Hallmark, terrible sort of studio movie from about 2004, I want to say, with Ben Affleck and James Gandolfini, which we have previously covered on this podcast. And the problem is, on paper, it sounds amazing. It sounds like the dark comedy Christmas that you've always wanted. And then you watch it, and it's the most dire shit you've ever seen in your life. But that's the thing, is it's been designed to sound good on paper. It's been designed to sound like,
it's marketable.
It's to put bums on seats as opposed to actually be good, basically, isn't it?
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Like, just looking at images from Hot Frosty, you see the guy and you have such high hopes. You see his goofy-looking face on the poster, and you're just likely to think, oh, this is going to be bafflingly bad.
Yeah.
But it's just not, and you even normalize to how weird his face is over time.
Yeah. You do kind of get used to his face. It becomes bland
Speak
after
for
a bit.
yourself. I never. Every time he came on screen, I went, ooh.
Yeah, it was fine. I didn't hate it, if I'm being honest. Which is kind of the sad thing about it, is that I didn't hate it. I didn't have any strong feelings either way, honestly.
Exactly, and I think that's probably it sums it all up. I think so. Having said that, let's do our business. Let's get about the good things.
Yeah.
Quick fire.
Am I okay to start? Because I just have like a really easy start.
Yes.
Do it.
I like Gretchen Wiener's outfits. They're
oh shit.
Oh, the jewel-toned jackets, very nice. The hats, the cozy-looking fucking clothes. All about it. It gave me a Christmas vibe immediately because she puts her hat on in bed and I was like, yes, that's relatable. That's the sort of shit that I do. And a blanket round the house. You know, our heating is good, but I don't want to turn it on because that's expensive. So yeah, I just really enjoyed the sort of vibe I immediately got from her Christmas outfits, basically. And it's simple but true.
Thanks.
I think the artistry of the snowman, which I continue to maintain, looks like the sculpture of the dying Gaul.
Oh yeah!
Wow!
Yeah,
like someone turned the dying Gaul upright, and from a certain light, it also looks like he has the big luxurious moustache of the dying Gaul. And I was very disappointed when he didn't.
Only way you could have made this creepier was if he'd come back with a big Gaul
with a moustache. Yeah.
Mustache.
But yeah, so I think the snowman was great before he turned into a man.
Yeah, I actually think the snowman was attractive before he became
Well, is this then an analogy for dating apps? Because when you see the facsimile, it's all really good, but then they come to life and
bit shit actually.
A bit stalkery
Oh, they
and creepy.
creepy as hell.
Yeah. I'll just have the Mean Girls reference.
That is so funny. That looks just like a girl I went to high school with.
It's cute. You know, Lindsay Lohan's on the TV doing something. Presumably she was just down the hall filming her Christmas movie.
That is from the Christmas movie several years ago.
Oh, that's from Falling for Christmas.
Yeah, she loses her memory.
Yep, we did that on the podcast with Jen. Yes, so... And then she says...
we watched it right after we watched Hot Frosty. I mean, I'd seen it before. My friend hadn't, so we leapt right into that.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
That one had more weird stuff going on that kept us engaged, from what I remember.
Yeah, like the boyfriend discovering the sexy bear man in the forest.
Yes,
and
oh my god.
Gay.
Constantly cutting back to that was fabulous. Like, yeah, that movie at least had a bit more going on.
God loves a bear.
Yeah, indeed.
I too choose the bear.
But yeah, I enjoyed the reference. And she says, I went to high school with that girl. It's cute. It's a cute thing. Gotta love that. Does probably suggesting that these all are in canon with Mean Girls, which is
strange, but
like that. Oh, Helen.
Yeah. So my next one is that I do really like the fact that they've glued a scarf to his dick. It gave me such joy to see that, and I don't know why. It shouldn't have.
For clarity, this is whilst he's wandering around naked, they've carefully glued the bottom of the scarf to his dick so it just stays in front of it no matter what he's doing.
He leans down and it sticks so obviously in a way that is unnatural. And I don't know, I just felt joy when I saw that, and you know, so sue me. You know, that's
it is.
why.
It's bad. It's bad and obvious enough that it is like a wink to the audience, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I like it. I thought it was funny.
I take your Mean Girls reference and I raise you the fact that Gretchen Wiener says, and I'm the Queen of Aldovia, meaning that we are in the NCMCU, the Netflix Christmas Movie Cinematic Universe, where A Christmas Prince takes place.
Oh, shit!
Because a lot of their films imply that they exist in the same universe, and this one does. But it does imply that Falling for Christmas takes part in a different universe because it's a movie that's on the TV. So I'm slowly working out which of these is in universe.
I have a question to add on to that. Why do so many quaint type movies have Ovia at the end of their of their fake
because
places?
it sounds vaguely European to Americans.
But it doesn't. Yes. What the only place I can think of is Moldova. That's it. That's the only one, and it doesn't even have an I in it. I don't understand.
Or
Bolivia,
in Barovia, if you play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and are really into like the grimmest place you've ever heard of.
Bolivia
it's just
is not
a really, it's Bolivia is not in Europe. That's
what we've all learned here today.
It just really puzzles me.
I think it has like an old world Germanic charm about it.
It does.
You know?
Might as well end it in Stein, though. Why are we doing this?
Oh, you've got
Why are we here?
Slovenia. Slovenia, sort of Serbia, Albania. Like, there's the king of Albania.
It sounds far away and exotic to Americans, is the thing.
Don't forget, they're as bad as geography as I am. They don't know.
They don't know these places are medium.
There's a lot of ears out there. Slovakia, Romania, like there's ears out in Eastern Europe, and Eastern Europe I feel like is where they want to place this. Even though there is, I don't know, in the UK there is a very ungenerous stereotype about Eastern Europe that it's all incredibly awful, which is inaccurate. There's a lot of
there's a lot of nice stuff. It's just very mid, in my opinion. It's not like good or bad. It's just kind of like a place.
It's just there, isn't it?
But Americans, I think, like the idea of it. So
very romantic.
Speaking of things that Americans like, good pizza, I thought that he made.
Yeah, it did look quite nice. It looked like a Naples pizza. You know, it didn't look.
It did make me really want pizza.
It made me fancy a fucking pizza. It didn't look like a shit pizza. It looked like
a good pizza,
a nice pizza.
So I was all out of luck because where are you going to get a good pizza in Andover?
Oh no, really?
We've got a Rudy's.
Domino's?
It's open.
I don't think so.
No.
Although there is a new place in Winchester that sells New York pizza by the slice, which I'm
that.
very excited about.
That sounds good.
That is exciting.
I love the sheriff. I love the sheriff.
I did just put Doug Judy.
And I also love the deputy.
Yep, they're very good together. It's lovely to see them together, and
I do like both of those actors as well. I find them. I just find them
they're
charming.
very funny.
That I enjoy having them in my face. So that was nice.
The outtakes at the end implied that they were the only two having fun here.
Yeah,
kind of did.
Very much
so.
Yeah.
And I believe it.
Yeah,
you know?
It comes across on the screen. So there you are.
Also, I think they're not Netflix or Hallmark regulars. Like Lacey Chabert's made 41 of these now.
Yeah,
like it's just the day job.
Yeah,
and it does kind of feel like it.
Yeah, you get that tone from it, really, don't you? So like, but you don't get that from them. Maybe this is their first. Their first.
I think it might
weirdly
be from
shitty
what I can
Christmas
see.
movie.
And they're just here to have fun. Because if you got cast in like one Netflix Disney movie, Netflix Christmas,
then it would
movie,
be fun. It would be a treat.
Exactly, but when you're on 41,
then
yeah.
Becs.
When they are making Christmas cookies, she bites the head off a snowman cookie, and the look on his face is one of genuine fear, and it made me laugh.
I also have that on my one good thing.
There we go.
He did it well. It was like
Mine
one bit of acting. I was like, yes, there.
My one good things are not in any kind of order.
I'm kind of skipping back and forth. If I'm being
having
honest.
said that, it is weird that he reacts that way because we don't react that way when people eat gingerbread men, like regular-looking humans. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because often with
figures have come up
with jelly
babies.
Jelly babies and gingerbread men, I always eat the head first, and people are always like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's like I don't want it to suffer.
So my thing is when people are actually talking about it. So my niece, I feel like my niece has done this at one point. She goes like, I'm going to eat this leg, and then I'm going to eat that leg, and then I'm going to eat the head. And it's like there's an element of horror to that. Like if you were to say, I'm going to eat the dick first, you know, there's a
splay the legs and get in there.
Yeah, like mentioning the body parts, I think, does bring horror. So maybe he just hasn't seen this before. Like the first time you see someone eat a jelly baby, you're a bit like.
There is something horrific about the idea of eating a ginger man limb first, like going around doing all four limbs and then getting around to the head.
Oh, and also, to be fair, the gingerbread men aren't hyper realistic to snowmen, right? But whereas that snowman is very much a snowman.
I guess it's
facsimile.
like if someone made you like a pretty realistic human cookie with like a person flesh tone painted on it.
I have an exact example for this as well, because when my sister had a baby shower. She had those.
Not one of the creepy babies.
Yeah, she had those hyper-realistic babies on top of, I think, cupcakes. And I was like, I don't know if I can eat this. I don't know if I can eat this. It feels like bad luck, no?
Just crunching down on a baby.
Yeah, so I think the realism.
I'm not going to lie, I think I would have gone around
horrifying.
taking all the babies off and crunching down on them like an evil little witch.
Yeah, look, I was youthful at that time, so like I think I probably did eat it in the end, but it did seem wrong. Somehow.
Is there a moment in this film where he goes and talks to the other snowmen inside of the inside of the fair?
He does I think he goes up and sort of
at the beginning, he is talking right at the beginning. When he first like turns around and sees I don't know, like the shop window.
Yeah.
And it's like clothes. He is talking to them.
Well, there you go. He's talking to his old friends. That's what that note was. Well, that's what that note meant anyway. It was his, not him. So we've cracked it. We've cracked the note.
I can talk. I love talking. It's amazing. But if it can happen to me, it can happen to you.
Excuse me.
Anyway, I enjoyed the group of women joke, because if I remember correctly, the reveal that now it's no longer just one lusty lady, but actually an entire room full, is kind of there, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I don't know what I meant by ice eating.
That's my next one.
Yeah, I've got that on here as well.
Okay, what is it?
Well, just all the way through, he's constantly like snacking on ice. So the first time she leaves him alone and he's watching TV, he's sitting there with a big bowl of the kind you'd put popcorn in, but it's just ice cubes. And he's just like
fun.
Laughing, watching TV like, ha 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 ha, just crunching down on ice cubes. And I was like, that's pretty funny.
I also particularly liked the section where he's talking to the sheriff on his own, basically, and the sheriff's like, why are you doing this? I can't remember his line, but he says, because I like to eat the ice, Sheriff.
Why is there no beverage for that ice, Jack?
Because I like to eat the ice, Sheriff.
And it's just
and then they just lock eyes really intensely and both take a handful of ice.
Yeah, it's real
Shove it in
dramatic.
their mouths.
I enjoyed it.
That's that Javert energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, back round to Helen.
Let me see. Oh, I like that they included Nosferatu. I don't know. I just like that. I like that film. So.
Yeah,
I did say at that point, how does he know that a crucifix will work? As he went through the house looking for vampires.
That's just things that snowman know.
Sometimes snowmen know about, because it's a mystical creature, really, isn't it?
Exactly,
Sure,
they have that in
just
common.
are born with the knowledge, right?
They're born with mystical creature knowledge. So he knows a lot about unicorns also. We just don't see about that.
There are many more subtle Murnau jokes hidden throughout the film. Find them all, fans. Becs.
A lot of the set dressing was kind of insane. And I really enjoyed that. So Gretchen Wiener's wall art was all very sapphic. And kind of classics themed. And then the old lady had insane wall art. And I have been sneakily capturing this in the background, which I'm putting in the Zoom chat now.
Shit.
It's taking ages to load, so that you can look at that picture and understand why we spent quite a long time trying to figure out
what that is.
It
Yeah.
just feels
happening
very
there.
homoerotic to me, that picture.
Yep.
I mean, what it is for listeners is two naked men
One of them's-
painting a portrait.
Yes.
But the palette, the artist's palette, is front and center and much bigger, and so his thumb sticking through it, very questionably placed.
Very, very questionably.
I think there isn't. I don't think there's much more homoerotic than two men naked painting a picture, though. So it reads. It's still, whether there's a dick or not, it still reads very gay.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's just that it genuinely took us a long time to work out what was going on.
You wonder whether it's like there's a lot of gay people have made this film. But they, it's a very straight reading Hallmark film, so like, Hallmark-esque film. So they're like, I'm going to put in as much gay reference as I can.
I think there's a stereotype though, right, of like an older woman an older single woman who just has loads of weird gay art on her walls. Like that feels like something I see a lot.
Yeah, I kind of hope that gay men haven't been brought in to make these movies, considering they will never represent anyone other than straight white couples.
Yeah.
In any of their movies across any.
If you want to develop that thought further, Go over to our Roll Plus Heart. We've done a Hallmark Christmas movie style game.
We just did a gay Hallmark Christmas movie game.
That's the one better thing.
There's the plug.
Nice, Helen. Nice.
I was there.
My next one is I think it's a Lacey Chabert line where it's just something like,
I drop you off, I pick you up. You don't leave the school. You don't tell anyone you're a snowman. And you certainly don't tell anyone you're the guy the sheriff's looking for.
okay, go to school, come back again, don't tell anyone you're a snowman. It's a good line.
That is a good line. I enjoy that. Fuck. Sorry, the cat is deeply getting in my way now. She refuses to let anything happen.
That's good cat behavior.
Yeah, I mean, that's just cat. That's just how cats do. This is not. It's kind of a good thing. Like I had to think about where her money comes from, and I realized that probably, obviously she owns a business, but also her husband probably had life insurance, right? So she has all of this money, but she just doesn't have the wherewithal to sort her life out, even though she has a load of money because she's. And I think the tone of that is quite realistic. Because just because you have money doesn't mean you can solve the problems that are going on in your life. If you're fucking depressed, so I like the general. It feels real to me, oddly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's me.
Good stuff.
I really enjoyed when Doug Judy emerged into the diner to dramatically arrest Hot Frosty, and someone just goes, "Was he wearing sunglasses in the bathroom?"
That's good.
Made me laugh.
Do you know what I meant by needed a description of his face?
Yes, I do. He says,
oh yeah.
Is when they're looking for the guy. He says, did anyone get a description of him? Yeah, we talked to the woman, but we needed a description of his face.
That's good. I like that. Also, just a quick one to throw in. Really enjoyed Lacey Chabert's bunny embroidered gilet that she's wearing at one stage in the film.
Oh yeah.
That's very good vibes.
Generally, all of her clothes I would wear, and I think maybe that's a sign that I might be a Hallmark movie protagonist.
I think you might be living in a Hallmark movie.
You might be.
It's going to be something to do with being married to a chef.
Sorry, we're going to have to kill off Craig so that you can...
No. I feel like somehow Craig will come into it. No, there's no Hallmark movies about a continuing couple.
No,
you will have to.
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe
Either that... No, you know what we could manage?
A Hallmark movie.
No, we could manage if you separated and then romantically got back together.
Yeah.
Or the other kind of Christmas movie... The only kind of Christmas movie that's allowed to happen to couples that pre-exist is if you swap places. If you have
true.
some sort of body swap situation. It's going to have to happen.
Because I will say the separated and met again 10 years later and got back together is the new Lindsay Lohan Christmas film that came out this year.
Ah, there you go.
So maybe.
They're moving on. Whole new frontiers of representation. Couples that were already together. Whoa!
I also enjoyed this is from the same scene as my last one, so I'm sorry, I just really enjoyed that scene. He says there hasn't been a murder in Hope Springs since I became sheriff, and someone says we haven't had a murder in Hope Springs in 100 years, and he goes, you're welcome. And I enjoyed that.
Love that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the awkward teens at the dance.
Yeah,
there were just a lot of teens standing around being awkward, and I love that for them.
At the dance, when he's talking to one of the awkward teens, and the awkward teen says, did you bring a date? And he says, yeah, she's right over there. The adult.
Gross.
That is good.
Really made me laugh in a kind of awful way.
Gross and weird.
I really enjoyed Boyle teaching Hot Frosty to dance. I thought that was... And Doug Judy looking out the window and seeing it and just being like, what in the hell? There's a part where Doug Judy is walking through the streets of the town doing a little Javert monologue where he's like, I'm going to bring him to justice. That, this is how I'm going to say. And then he bumps into someone mid-monologue and without breaking stride goes, sorry, Merry Christmas.
That was my last one.
And his face...
Who are you? Some youthful prankster? Or are you a deviant? Stimulated by the freezing cold of your naked flesh, longing to see the faces of the elderly, horrified by your exposed nether regions. Sorry, Merry Christmas. You like that, don't you?
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
When they took him out of the police cell, Boyle goes, "He's dripping bad."
That's such a Boyle
I
thing to
didn't notice that.
Which
That's a good
absolutely
line.
fucking killed me. And then my final one is just that 2000s ass blooper reel at the end.
Oh
Yeah, fuck me.
I can't believe I didn't remember that, because that is an extremely like so 2000s. It's like there's something about Mary shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none of them were very funny bloopers, is
No,
the thing.
no, that's not the point, though. I feel like that's very on brand, I feel like, for Hallmark, even though I don't know if they actually usually do that. But it just sort of breaks the whole sort of, hey, we're all having fun. We're just, this isn't a real movie. This is just a bunch of us
It
playing
humanizes
around.
these actors so that you
Exactly.
don't assault them on the Hallmark cruise.
Yeah, because that, and also because the writing is not going to do that. So you need to send the audience back to the kitchen with the feeling that they've had a good time. Oh, Christ. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for quick firing about Hot Frosty.
Yeah.
Let's discuss the one better thing. The one better thing.
I actually remembered to think about this time for maybe the first time ever. I've lost count of how many times I've been on OGT, and every time I'm like, oh fuck yeah, that's a thing that I'm supposed to
be
think
honest,
about.
I've lost track of how many times I've appeared on OGT, but I also regularly forget that I need to come up with a one better thing by the end.
I was thinking about it at 1 a.m. last night. Does that count as thinking about it? I don't know.
Yes, it does.
1
yeah.
a.m.
Yeah,
thinking
for sure.
is perhaps the most. That's your most precious thinking time.
I
and
don't
you've
think.
devoted
I
it
think it's
to-
very bad thinking time.
You could have spent that time thinking about the death of your loved ones and yourself.
I mean,
but instead you devoted it to this. I think
It
that's
is
beautiful.
great that I didn't have the anxiety, but then as soon as I had thought of something, then the anxiety thinking came in, and it was just like, well, now I've fucked it, haven't I? Should have thought
That's a
about
shame.
that for longer.
That's why my one better thing is the death of my family.
Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful.
Oh dear.
What have you got? What have you guys got?
So I've got a couple.
Oh.
And I've titled this For Better Romantic Films That Also Don't Do Enough to Address the Upsetting Consent Issues Contained Within Them. Pretty Woman, obviously, it's right there. And While You Were Sleeping.
Yeah, while you're sleeping. That's another one where the man is the one who's not consenting.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
The man is in the role
object.
usually taken up by the woman, and obviously B movie. But if you want another kind of shitty but more enjoyable Christmas film, the new Lindsay Lohan one. I already don't remember what it was called, but I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good.
I'm
It's quite
probably
fun.
going to check that out, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
I would like to have that on in the background whilst wrapping some things later.
Yeah.
I think
Do
I'll
it.
probably do that.
My one better thing isn't really a one better thing so much as it's just the Christmas movie I watch every year and like. It's my favourite Christmas movie, so watch that instead, why not? Muppets Christmas Carol.
No, yeah.
Fucking classic. Fucking
Yeah.
classic. No cheeses for us Mises. That's the only,
That's the best line in the whole fucking
best thing in the whole thing.
Best thing ever written.
And that's all I came up with because I can't think properly at 1 a.m.
Mine is genuinely Babe 2 Pig in the City, and I'll explain why. Because now, after its sort of, initial release window where it was sold as a children's film that is a reasonable follow-up to Babe, which it is not. It is neither of those things. It is now gaining a reputation as being a crazy sequel that is a wild thing to watch, in the same way that Hot Frosty had that reputation, but I do believe Pig in the City delivers. It's an utterly surreal bohemian adventure for Babe, in which he ends up away from the farm, in the city, in a house possessed by some monkeys, dogs, and some cats, and the most Wallace and Gromit ass-looking woman you've ever met in your life. And
she is.
And Mickey Rooney. And they just... things fall apart. It's just utterly baffling. It's very dark in a way that's very amusing. It is George Miller, the director of Fury Road and Furiosa, and it kind of tracks.
What the fuck?
It is. Yeah.
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 The weird shit that directors do, like they just don't. You feel like there are some things that like writers do all the time, or
Yeah.
like, but directors seem to just go, nah, I need money this week, so I'm going to direct
Well,
this, I guess.
George Miller is weirder than most because having directed all of the Mad Max movies, he has also made, Babe 2. He worked heavily on Babe 1, but didn't direct it. Apparently, it was at loggerheads with the director of Babe 1 because he wanted it to be darker.
What?
Yeah. And so finally they gave him his way in Babe Pig in the City, and I guess at the time, Babe 1 director must have felt pretty vindicated by the whole thing.
I think Babe 1 was fairly dark, though. There's quite some dark elements into it.
Oh, there's some dark stuff. Did you know that Babe 1 was nominated for Best Picture that year?
Yeah. I
What the
recall.
fuck?
Wow. That's kind of wild.
Kind of wild. Babe 2 Pig in the City was not nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, you surprised me.
What?
But it is nevertheless an extremely good film, so I highly recommend, because it's just wild. It's crazy, it's bizarre. You'll spend every moment of it asking how George Miller managed to convince the studio to let him make this decision. And I love it for that. And I also do love Mrs. Hoggett, who is a wonderful character. Just
hoggeting up the place.
Just hoggeting the whole place. And the weird conspiracy of men with pig noses who are unaffiliated but will at all stages try and help Babe is just, God.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you just brought that viscerally back to me.
Just surreal. And there's also something really surreal. I can't just keep talking about Pig in the City, but Babe's voice is so haunting. I was thinking to myself, oh, this would be a great voice to do in D&D before realizing this is actually Morrick's exact energy from the first series of Quest Fantastic. So I don't know if Nell is a massive Babe fan.
The main thing I like about Babe, though, is the little mice. The mice are great.
The mice are great. Reading out,
mice
it never failed to get a fucking laugh when the mice would show up in order to read the chapter title, and the chapter title would be something like Chaos Revisited. The end of Sanctuary.
Stunning. You gotta love those mice.
Yeah, the sequence at which all of the... That's why I was trying to think earlier, why was I thinking about the Holocaust this week? It's because the sequence in which the house full of animals is cleared by the police is so the Nazis storming the ghetto.
Oh my God.
Coded.
It really
it's
is.
fucking horrifying.
First they came for the communists and I wasn't worried, la la la.
Then they came for the pigs.
And I just said nothing because I was not a pig.
My God, what a strange end to this.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas, you pigs.
God bless us, everyone.
And I think this is actually the last Christmas special before Christmas. So, Becs and Helen, how can the OG team spend the new year catching up on all the good stuff you've done?
So much good stuff. We have 2 Christmas specials now.
Ooh.
I mean,
yeah.
There's like the one from last year. Last year was the year before last. I don't know. It was a long way ago.
Whenever we
but
did
it was the Beans Christmas. So it was all the Sean Beans. And this year we have
where we each played 5 or 6 different Sean Beans.
Many. It's very entertaining
with
mixed results.
Yeah.
I really just want to see a dialogue scene of all the beans.
Yeah.
Going at it.
And this year we've got Hometown Holidays, where we each play someone trying to be the romantic lead in a Hallmark movie. It's very good fun.
Also with mixed results.
Hallmark, but make it gay, which Hallmark never will.
Yes.
Never fucking
So
will.
you'll only get it with Roll Plus Heart. That's an exclusive for you guys.
Yeah. Roll Plus Heart, you can find us on any podcatcher. You can also go to rollplusheart.co.uk to find out any info, look at all of our game reviews, find our shop, etc., etc. Helen cannot be found individually on the internet. You can find me over mostly on Blue Sky these days under Starling Dust, or on Twitch at Starling Dust.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Or where I draw naked ladies and really push the boundaries of Twitch's terms of service. And that's a promise.
Or I could find
That's a
you
boundary
by
that needs pushing.
sleeping under your bed and coming out later.
Helen does do that.
Yeah, occasionally.
that's fair.
Just as a treat, you know.
Well, look, you can find out more about One Good Thing by doing OGT Pod into anything that you like to put it into. and you will probably find some sort of account that we are involved in. Yep, there's one good thing. There's loads of episodes of it, so go back and listen to all of those if you're bored. And there's also, we have a Patreon which contains lots of fun stuff. I recorded a very long gaming session with Sarah, which has allowed me to release gradually over the past 3 weeks, which means it's been a while since I've needed any other Patreon content.
That's
but
nice.
We will be doing
That's what we do.
different stuff for a while soon. So keep an eye out for that. We will be getting some of the previous guests in order to make up some of that. Quest Fantastic is a role-playing podcast that we do. Jen and the Film Critic is a film critic podcast that we do. And that's going to pretty much do it. So, I'm Paul Dew.
I'm Laurent Javert.
I'm Helen Frosty. I
really
phoned that one in, I'll be honest.
And remember, the one good thing about Hot Frosty are the moments where the Hot Frosty is, as promised, genuinely chilling. Merry Christmas, everyone!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho.
Ho!